From a furious captain of a cricket team
ये सिर्फ खेल नहीं है जो हम किसी के मौज मनोरंजन के लिए खेलते हैं।
to a depressed boy in a small town.
साला ये दुख का खत्म नहीं होता बे।
There were numerous great performances in Bollywood movies in the 21st century so far. They made us cry, laugh, or took us to a whole different world with their remarkable acting.
इंडिया ऐसे इंडिया का बन जाता है।
You are watching iOS and here are our picks for the 10 greatest acting performances in Bollywood movies of this century so far. Number 10. Shah Rukh Khan, My Name is Khan.
मुझे एस्पर्गर सिंड्रोम है, इसका ये मतलब नहीं कि मैं पागल हूँ। ओह नो नो नो, मैं बहुत इंटेलिजेंट हूँ, वेरी स्मार्ट।
Playing a performance of a differently abled character is challenging. Any sort of over-dramatic delivery can completely ruin the role. Shah Rukh Khan's acting in My Name is Khan is an example of how an actor can both play an uncommon person and still make it seem like an everyday character that connects with the audience so naturally.
Marry me,
Just go.
marry me.
Just go, okay?
My Name is Khan talked about a man with Asperger's syndrome who takes on a journey to meet the President of the United States to claim his statement in response to the social racism against Muslim people.
My name is Khan and I'm not a terrorist.
The film though might well be very straightforward and a little scheming, but the performance was nothing short of perfection in its manner of showing the character in their truest light and creating a whole new man the world has never seen.
पिछले 4 साल में एक फोन भी नहीं किया, यहाँ तक सैम से भी बात नहीं की। अब कौन सा वापस लौट के आने वाला है? स्लाइमी बास्टर्ड मदर।
The situation these characters faces in the film, such as meeting a wholesome family or meeting the president, all seem a little over the top and exaggerated, but the acting never seems to get flowed by the drama the storyline proceeds. Instead, Shah Rukh Khan remains on his own. With the utmost honesty, a person such as that would act like in such situations.
आप झूठ बोल रहे हैं, आप झूठ बोल रहे हैं। डॉक्टर फैसल रहमान इज अ लायर।
देखिए
आप झूठ बोल रहे हैं।
देखिए इस कहानी का मतलब
डॉक्टर फैसल रहमान इज अ लायर।
Number 9. Priyanka Chopra for Barfi. Unlike the previous pick, Priyanka Chopra's performance is not unexaggerated while it is almost the same kind of character, a person who is not physically able, though in a quite different situation. She plays the character of Jilmil, a different young woman who gets kidnapped by Barfi, a young mute and deaf boy who needs money for his father's treatment. Even though she doesn't see the world as intellectually as the others, she can feel the atmosphere, the people and love. Priyanka Chopra single-handedly tells a story here through her performance. Her character in the film tries to prove that there is no such thing as abnormality or inequality among people or love. Her character's primary value is in making the point that she is not crazy or insane as the world label her so. And though the storyline is already there and she has only to imitate it, without her indescribable portrayal, the film might lose half of its charm and the value of the point it made. She took the challenge of playing some high dramatic moments and deflected them with sheer beauty, that they never felt too much but just witnessing a character knotted by physical boundaries but still in need for an expression. Number 8. Tabu, Chandni Bar. The lower production setup and budget make Chandni Bar an underseen film, but it is a landmark of great performances by all the cast in all of Bollywood cinema. Tabu here, amongst the others, gave a performance that is said to be one of the best performances by a female actor in Bollywood.
या शादी करेगी मेरे साथ।
She played the role of Mumtaz, a village girl who gets forced to work as a dancer in a bar, which let her be a part of the violent, dark, disturbing and gritty underworld, in which she though finds a little bit of solace at times but at the overall phase remains the same hopeless woman.
क्या बात है?
अभी मेरे पोतिया को ना पुलिस ले गई।
Her character continuously goes through alarming situations that a common person can hardly imagine. She gets forced to be a dancer, she gets betrayed and raped by her uncle, later her husband gets killed, her son grows up to be the same gangster and her daughter prostitutes, something she tried so hard to prevent. Her never-ending despair is unbearable to even imagine. Her performance makes the audience feel everything she goes through, the agony, distress and the outcome of all the hopelessness.
शादी हो गई ना अन्ना, अभी घर संभालूंगी। ये जगह पे नहीं आने का है मेरे को।
She gives the audience a ride inside the underworld and situation of a woman in such a place, which is not so rare. Number 7. Nawazuddin Siddiqui for Gangs of Wasseypur.
आप बीच में नहीं बोलेगा। बाप का, दादा का, भाई का, सबका बदला लेकर तेरा फैजल।
In the first part of the film, Manoj Bajpayee delivered a performance that gave a whole new direction to gangster characters in world cinema. Nawazuddin Siddiqui on the second part took even a bigger step.
दिल कौन सा है?
A furiously murderous character can hardly be fun to watch, but with his career-defining performance, he proved us wrong. A story that spans over generations, Siddiqui here plays the character of Faisal, who will take the revenge of his father's murder, even though he is a pretty basic human being who has hardly been fond of violence and murders.
हमें कभी कुछ नहीं करना था। पता नहीं ये सब कैसे होता चला गया।
Though after the numerous pressures by his mother and realizing the truth when he does enter into violence, he gets engaged. Gangs of Wasseypur is filled with plenty of amazing scenes and Siddiqui's hilarious body language always makes the most out of the scenes.
आप ही बताइए इनका क्या उम्र होगा?
40 साल हो गए।
क्या? कितनी उम्र लगती है हमारी? 40। 35।
No matter how vicious he can be while killing, he has a down-to-earth nature while being around his people. And that feature specifically makes this performance twice more unique because it's very relatable for the basic audience.
काय? मुस्कुरा क्या रहे हैं? काय?
Considering the example of the run scene might elevate much of his excellence as he does all the performance of jumping and running and completely acts out the feet injury with perfection. Number 6. Manoj Bajpayee for Aligarh. There are hardly any actors in Bollywood who played a gay character, and if compared to all, Manoj Bajpayee outdid all of them, and even more to say most of his other performances.
सर,
तू फ्रॉड आदमी है।
सर मैं
इतना आने का नहीं है।
Released in the year of 2016, Aligarh was the story of Professor Siraj of Aligarh University who was arrested for a homosexual act, and though later through the help of a journalist he fought his case in the court, won it but still killed himself later on. Playing a character in a wheelchair is different, but playing a character that is different inside and out, and more especially kind of character or performance that has never been explored in Bollywood, is quite challenging.
तुम सिक्योरिटी लिया कि नहीं?
हाँ लिया।
डिपॉजिट लिया मुझसे?
लिया।
हैं? रजिस्ट्रेशन का पैसा लिया कि नहीं लिया? फिर क्यों लिया?
कमरे के लिए।
कमरे के लिए? फिर मैं कमरे में रहता हूँ मैं।
There is a long shot of him singing with a song in the background that might well finally reflect all the excellence of this performance. It is not only exquisite in the manner of changing the body language but also the voice, way of speaking and the facial expression, which Bajpayee here without hesitation passed it completely. Number 5. Kangana Ranaut for Queen. A fine ride of a film, Queen delivered a magnum opus of a performance in Bollywood cinema from Kangana Ranaut. She played the lead role, a 24-year-old woman whose marriage gets cancelled at the last moment by her husband, and thus she decides to go on Paris for her honeymoon alone.
मैं अपने हनीमून पे जाना चाहती
Though things get a lot scarier for her from the first moment she sets her foot on the flight, she is not even closely aware of a different culture other than her own home. But the people are way nicer in there, who not only helps her to adapt but in a way change her life and her perspective towards it.
तुम लोग डकार को टेस्ट करते हो? हम लोगों के वहाँ पे तो मतलब अलाउड ही नहीं है, लड़कियों को डकार करना तो अलाउड ही नहीं है मतलब.
Kangana Ranaut's performance always make us seem like watching a completely different person, more especially in Queen, where she plays an innocent woman who doesn't know much about the world and isn't even aware of its darkness. But going to Paris, she sees everyone is odd. They may not be very well off, still happy with their lives.
मैं भी कुछ करना चाहती हूँ. I want to do something.
Then who is stopping you?
The sense of self-discovery kicks in her by the end upon spending time with a single mother, 3 highly friendly boys, a local restaurant owner, and her performance puts us through all those situations and gives such a personal experience in an alien land for us as the general Bollywood audience.
मेरा तो इतना लाइफ खराब हो गया है, इतना लाइफ खराब हो गया है मेरा।
Come. Have some.
शराब।
Number 4. Rani Mukherjee for Black. Playing a deaf, mute and a blind character with downright trustworthiness can be as tough as one can imagine. Rani Mukherjee in Black, which is rather a profoundly melodramatic film, delivered one of the best performances in Bollywood in the 21st century.
40 साल लगे उसकी दिखाई हुई मंजिल पर पहुंचने में। और आज पहली बार मुझे आंखों की कमी का एहसास हो रहा है।
The story here is of Michelle, who is both blind and deaf, has been kept in the inside world by her parents, which made her violent and arrogant. Thus, her parents wanted to send her to an asylum, but then there came a teacher named Debraj who helped her reach sanity and made her feel the beauty of the life, even under all the darkness. And eventually she succeeds in her life as well and later helps Debraj himself at the later age. To imagine this situation, which is basically based on the real life character of Helen Keller, is disturbing and pretty unsettling, and Black, though through her performance, transmits that disturbing nature, but it doesn't lose its beauty in the way. It is a performance played at its most sincerity with over-the-top moments, both to arouse tragic or comic moments.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And what's special about it is it's beyond natural. Sanjay Leela Bhansali did try to put more and more drama to it, but Rani Mukherjee blindfolded them in her own way, endorsing us to an unbridged alternative level of what acting can be. Number 3. Irfan Khan for The Lunchbox. Subtlety has its beauty. Irfan Khan's performance in The Lunchbox might remain to be the most subtle in Bollywood from this century, if not all time.
I don't know when I became old. Maybe it was that morning. Maybe it was many mornings ago. And maybe if I'd forgotten something in the bathroom before, I would have found out sooner.
Always known for making down-to-earth characters, Irfan Khan in The Lunchbox gave the crowning achievement in all his career. He plays here a lone man whose wife died long ago and now is stuck in his everyday life, from going to work to returning home, until he gets a mistaken delivery of a tiffin box from a housewife, which happens continuously, so they start conversing with each other through letters. It is a near-perfect reflection of loneliness that can be compared with Guru Dutt's Pyasa, which never relies on extreme emotions but stays at its most depth and brings out the pain through the eyes and the body language.
I wanted to come up to you and tell you all this in person, but I just watched you wait. You look beautiful.
To say that Irfan Khan played characters such as in Piku or Hindi medium years later of The Lunchbox, where he looked way older. Even though the makeup changes a character, it had hardly any. If we talk about the use of makeup these days in movies, then this is pure acting, which is much more to be experienced than analyzed.
Do I look like a servant?
No. Please, Mr. Fernandez, we'll not play here. We'll play on the other side.
If you play in front of this door again, I'll chase you down with the street.
Number 2. Ranbir Kapoor for Rockstar. Apart from what all know how great of a performance Ranbir Kapoor gave in Rockstar, it is much important how outstandingly he carried the development of the character from a completely stupid young boy to a raging rockstar, crazy and angry. He plays Janardhan, the main character of the film, who falls in love with a muddled girl and later separates from her. He gets thrown out of the house from which he attends a mosque and gets praised for his voice, which later makes him contact with a music label, and the huge success filled with messy situations follows. While he meets with his past lover again, who now is married, and things get messed up between them, and Jordan goes even crazier, and to say also more famous and controversial.
मैं आज इतनी बड़ी हस्ती हूँ हीर, स्टार हूँ मैं, इतने सारे पैसे मेरे पास, फेमस हूँ, पर अंदर पता है सिर्फ जलन है मेरे अंदर, बेचैनी है.
It is quite tough to perform under a playback singing, something more or less every Bollywood actor has done, which is a signature of Bollywood movies, and Ranbir Kapoor might be the greatest of them. It never feels like it's not him who is singing, and the moments of the songs give the most of the performance, which successfully portrayed all the desperation, even with little to no words. So here are also some of the performances that couldn't be kept in the top 10 but still deserves a mention.
खुद का घर तो तेरे से संभला को ना, बचपन से जवानी तक बाप ने पाल पोस के बड़ा किया और उसके बाद शर्मा जी ने अपने पीछे का कदे अंडरवेयर तक तले को ना, मेरे पे असरी से।
ये एक लड़ाई है जो हमका जीतनी है। हमारा मकसद सिर्फ एक है, लगान से मुक्ति, गांव की खुशहाली। और के वास्ते मैं मारते दम तक किसी के सामने नहीं झुकूंगा। आप लोग मेरा साथ दें या ना दें, मगर कचरा खेलेगा।
अगर तुमने ऐसा नहीं किया सोफिया, तो मैं खुद वहां पे आके तुम्हारा हाथ पकड़ के I'll take you to the front door and throw you out of this house and out of this job.
दवाई के आंगन की मिट्टी मिलाकर ही दुर्गा की मूर्ति भर दी है और ये मिट्टी इतनी कमजोर है। तमाशा अब खत्म हुआ।
अरे मौजे, आपका भाई, आप रो क्यों रही हैं? आपके लिए तो खुशखबरी है, अब आप आदि बेवा नहीं रही। बाबू जी मर गए, He's dead. हाँ?
सुबह शाम दिन रात मुझे वो चीख सुनाई देती है, इसलिए मैंने राठौड़ से कहा गोली मार दो इनको, खत्म कर दो सालों को। जो बूढ़े बच्चे सामने आए खत्म कर दो उनको, वरना ये लोग हमें कहा जाएंगे।
Not dependent on anybody. Nobody. एक मिनट, गाड़ी क्यों रोकता है इधर? ठीक है, आप बस ले लीजिए। ऐसे हर एक घंटे में गाड़ी रोक रोक के साला मेरा भी पेशेंस बाकी नहीं बचा है। नो, आई हैव नॉट सेड एनीथिंग रॉन्ग। ये बर्डन क्या लगा रखा है आपने? इमोशनल ब्लैकमेल करके पेरेंट्स को पता नहीं क्या सुख मिलता है।
Number 1. Radhika Apte for Phobia. Fear, panic attacks, extreme anxiety, distress, emotional breakdown or violence are the features of Radhika Apte's performance in Phobia that we consider the crowning achievement in acting from Bollywood of this century. Phobia is a film about a young female artist who goes through a sexual harassment in a cab and later becomes acrophobic, which in simple words makes her anxious even letting a foot out of her room. Upon moving to a new apartment, she experiences more than the normal features of the disease, which makes her have visions of things that aren't there. Also, she feels the sense of a mystery that is related to her neighbor who she thinks to be a psycho, by reading the diary of the girl who used to live in her apartment before her.
मैं कब से इंतजार कर रही हूँ। हाँ मल्होत्रा, प्लीज रिपेयर द वॉल।
2 मिलीमीटर का होल ही तो है। अब मैं कल कर दूं। I'm a bit busy today.
नहीं, तुमने कहा था ना मुझे। प्रॉब्लम हो रही है ना मुझे। प्रॉब्लम हो रही है मुझे।
I'll just get my toolkit.
नहीं चाहिए।
This is not only a performance so much based on the need of reflecting the fear and edginess, but a hilarious one even. The hysteric nature, making something huge out of little situations, being afraid of horrific visions, they deliver all the chills, and the horror makes it a performance that has hardly ever been seen in the industry.
मुझे खुद को प्रूव करना है that I'm not
genuinely cuckoo.
So that was the list. Share your opinions down in the comment box. If you could pick some other titles, also check out another video of this channel. Subscribe to stay updated, and thanks for watching.